So today I'm gonna review this game, okay? Cool? Let's go.
Bomberman Hero for the Nintendo 64. Man, this game has it all. Geodudes, Super Mario Clouds, slime from Dragon Quest, big chickens and little chickens. This is Hudson's first attempt at deviating from the Bomberman series' traditional gameplay in favor of a sort of Super Mario 64 style of 3D platforming, to which it received mixed reviews, mostly due to a lack of multiplayer.
Hey, I thought this was a Bomberman game. There's no multiplayer.
Upon starting the game, you're immediately thrown into a completely unnecessary tutorial stage.
I don't want to do a tutorial.
Hey Hudson, you know teaching a player game's mechanics through gameplay is much more fun and a lot less tedious than shoving it down the player's throat with tutorials. So could you maybe just like do that instead? No.
Cool. Guess I'll just collect walkie-talkies for a while.
This wouldn't bother me so much if it wasn't for the fact that the whole first series of levels are supposed to be a training ground.
Hey, Bomberman, you just get back from training? Well, perfect. That means that you're just in time for me to fucking train you.
Basically, the whole opening section is pointless. They could have just as easily implemented the tutorial during the first stage. Sure, it would have still been a tutorial, but at least it would have been spaced out in an actual stage so you feel like you're actually doing something. Now, this game's story is your typical, oh no, shit, they captured the princess and now you gotta save her, so it's up to Bomberman to get, you know where this is going.
And now it's time for the first stage.
I hear Powerpuff Girls. So the first stage is filled with jewels and power-ups. Two things they neglected to mention in the tutorial. Basically, the whole first series of levels exists solely to test out and learn the controls. I.e. the things you were supposed to have learned in the opening fucking tutorial. Why? Now, the three main power-ups that you usually come across are the bomb, the flame, and the sweater vest. There are a few others, but they're scarce and scattered throughout the later stages. The bomb increases the amount of bombs you can use at a time, and the flame increases the explosions, and the sweater vest protects you from your own bombs. By the way, you can get hurt by your own bombs. Now, as far as the controls go, they aren't terrible. Okay, they're pretty bad, but they aren't completely broken. Bomberman can be a little floaty, but for the most part, it doesn't pose too much of an issue. Throwing bombs, however, is sometimes a huge pain in the ass, because the game suffers from a problem I've seen in a few other 3D platformers, like Super No Depth Perception Brothers and Super Mario Galaxy I can't see. It's hard to judge depth when throwing the bombs, and sometimes enemies are just way too close to effectively destroy them without blowing your own goddamn face off.
Aesthetically, this game lacks polish and at times literally just looks like a mess of poorly textured polygons.
The music is okay, and the drum and bass style is a cool approach, but the mood of the music never really changes to fit the mood of the stage, including boss battles. Other than that, there's really not much else to say about it. It's pretty generic.
Now, every once in a while, you hit one of these gimmicky stages where Bomberman becomes equipped with one of 4 radical new means of transportation.
They aren't fun, and they're difficult to control. Now, I said before I had a problem judging depth, and these stages are no exception. I've missed power-ups that were literally right in front of my face. Hudson tried to add something cool, but these mechanics are clunky and something the game definitely could have went without. Okay, so probably the biggest issue I have with this game is the camera. It's fixed. Well, technically it isn't, but you can't really adjust it too much, so it just kind of defeats the purpose of being able to adjust it anyway, which when coupled with Bomberman Hero's floaty controls, makes precise platforming a huge pain in the scrot. I'll never understand how game developers can release a 3-dimensional platformer with a shitty camera. It makes absolutely no sense. That's like putting out a racing game where you aren't allowed to look forward. And the camera's especially great on those cool bonus stages where you can earn more jewels.
Damn it.
Now, one thing I really do love about this game is all the bosses and mini-bosses. Oh my god, that thing is fucking hideous. Because there's actually a good amount of them, and it makes up for a few of the levels being kind of boring. The bosses aren't too hard, but are just difficult enough to keep you on your feet a bit.
Now I know what you're probably thinking. This game sucks.
But if you can see past all the bullshit, this game is actually pretty fun. Not exactly the kind of game I'd be glued to for hours, but it's definitely worth playing and it's worth finishing. It's not terribly long, and it actually does have a pretty unique style of gameplay, and most stages are short, which makes the game feel a little bit more fast-paced than some other games of the genre.
When all said and done, I give this game a 7 out of 10. It's got a lot of problems, but it's still a fun game to play, so go out and play it. It's like 10, 15 bucks from like a reseller, so just go get it, slap it in your N64 and play it. Okay? Okay.